So if you didn't hear, Paul Lemberg isn't here.
A little hot.
He had something come up and couldn't make it, so we got called in to fill in, and we're going to be talking about marketing to sports sites, sports fans, and that sort of thing. So
Making money.
making money with it. So
Introduce yourself.
we just got told we're going to do this a few hours ago, so we don't have any PowerPoints or anything like that. We're just kind of doing it off the cuff. But my name is Joe Souza. I've been in the affiliate and SEO industry since about 1998. I do a bunch of different sports sites, and I've been doing that forever. I'm a huge sports fan. I love the Seahawks, so got to be sporting the Seahawks gear. I do all sorts of different. I do like small sites. I do big sites. Just whatever I think is going to work.
Okay. I'm Wade Tonkin. I'm an OPM. Have my own company called GTO Management. I also manage some sports-related affiliate programs. FanDuel.com, it's an instant fantasy sports game. Also work with BowlingShirt.com and a new site called Christian Cycle Online that does Christian-themed cycling gear. And been in affiliate marketing now for about 10 years. And see what we can bring from the OPM perspective.
Okay, my name is Jason Rabacki, and I currently work for ShareSale.com, and I am the affiliate development manager there. But I've been in the affiliate marketing world for about 7 years. I started as an affiliate marketer, doing sports sites, and then I moved on and managed a few sports programs as an affiliate manager. So know a lot of knowledge about the whole sports side of things, and hopefully you guys can gain some information and make some money in the sports niche. So feel free to, if you have questions in the middle, raise hands. Like I said, this is impromptu, so fire away.
Is that all the beer that you have?
Yeah, there's still about 10 more.
We can send out for more if we need to.
Yeah, come get a beer if you need one.
Unlimited amount of tickets. So.
Yeah, we're pretty cool with that. How many people out there have sports sites now? Okay.
Tickets.
Cool. Let's start off by saying why think about that sports niche?
Okay. And one of the main reasons I got into it is because I love sports. I love football. I love baseball, basketball, hockey, golf, tennis. I mean, whatever's on TV, I enjoy watching. And when I usually tell people starting out in the industry, I tell them to pick something they love, pick something that's going to be easy for them to work on, to write a bunch about. And since I love sports and know a lot about sports, that's kind of how I got started with it. And if it's something you enjoy and you love, and you could sit down and pretty easily crank out 20 articles about your favorite team, or write about all the players on your team and the individual players, I mean, that's going to be a good niche to start in. Because you're not going to lose interest in it very quickly. It's going to keep you, keep you focused on it. Another reason I like it is because it's so huge of a niche. I mean, there's very easily over 1 million products out there. And that's just more in the licensed apparel side, like jerseys and hats and shirts and that sort of thing. When you start getting into even smaller niche markets like bowling and golf and tennis and even NASCAR and Formula One, or you can go as far as like ping pong tables, and well, there's beer pong tables too. But as narrow as you want to go, you can do that. You can also go as big as you want to go. So there's always more sites that I could build. There's always more markets I could tap into. That's the main reason why I love the sports side of things there.
And it's fun. I mean, it's an easy product to sell because sports fans are super passionate about their teams. So it's, if you're selling merchandise, I mean, it's so easy to push that merchandise too because, they're fanatics. I mean, especially college sports fans, if you're looking at it, you think about it, and I've done research before, so you have like your NFL shopper, right?
Yeah.
They might go to a site and buy a jersey, but then if you run a college site, those guys are so fanatical and they're lifetime fans that they'll actually go and they'll buy a jersey, they'll buy a hat, they'll buy a jersey for their dog, they'll buy slippers, and so the average order value tends to be a lot higher for a college type site. So, I mean, any niche.
And they'll buy onesies for their kids.
Everything. And they'll buy onesies in 2T, 3T, just so their kid is always covered in the sports gear. I mean, it's just a niche that's never going to go away.
A lot of college teams even have licensed coffins you can buy now.
I mean, you can get coffins.
From birth to death, you got it covered.
You can get coffins with your favorite team. So, super niche right there.
And you can even, aside from the positive, the fans of teams, you've also got boards set up for people that hate the opposition.
Right.
So it opens up, you can play kind of both
Sure.
sides of the thing. I mean, it's literally a situation where there's so many different angles you can take, so many different sports you can address. I'm sure there's even stuff for, cricket, curling. I mean, and that's where, some of the sick little niche marketing can be done too.
I think the way to go in sports marketing now is to go really niche. I mean, just whether it's a team-specific site or some type of rivalry type site, I think is a good idea. I mean, I'm just going to spit out ideas from my head right now. But, why not take what you got, two big rivals, Michigan, Michigan State. Make a website, split it in half, have merchandise for Michigan on one side, Michigan State on the other side, and have a way to make it look like the fans are competing against each other and who's the bigger fan because they bought more merchandise. You can make so much money, and then that's going to cause people to come back to the website because they're like, oh, we're not winning, let's buy more stuff, So, and the whole thing about we're talking about buying is there's a bunch of different ways to market. And Joe, you mainly deal with the data feed sides of things?
I do a lot with data feed sites. I have, some sites that have over 100,000 products that are just all encompassing with football, baseball, basketball, all that. I have some smaller niche sites that focus just on football jerseys that there's only 1,000 products on, and I even go smaller than that. When Steven Strasburg started a few months ago, hot new pitcher for the Nationals, I set up StevenStrasburgJerseys.com, just selling jerseys for one player. And I mean, you can go as far niche down as that.
Well, how long did it take you to get traffic for that?
It took me about an hour to get traffic for that once it's set up.
That's really super niche. I'm wondering how it's doing. I mean, that's like as niche as you can get a jersey.
Since he debuted, I don't know when it was, in June, I think. That site's probably made me $300. So it's nothing I can retire on by any means, but
It's quick money.
how many players are there out there you can do that for? You can set up Brett Favre jerseys, Matt Hasselbeck jerseys, LaDainian Tomlinson jerseys, Bart Scott jerseys. I mean, pick any player.
Just think about how much money could have been made and was made on the whole LeBron thing, right? So there was 3 cities. Go out beforehand. You buy LeBron James Miami jersey, LeBron James, Knicks jersey, whatever. Buy those, have the sites built out, and as soon as those words popped out of his mouth, have that site ready to go. If you have a good merchant, you can have that product up and ready to go right away.
You're talking about setting up data feed based sites like that. I mean, it doesn't take any kind of time to build something like that. I mean, if you can throw a little bit of design together, I mean, you can have a data feed based site up and running in minutes.
Yeah. Once you have your, I mean, depending on what program you're using for your data feeds, once you have all your templates and stuff up, it's basically just plugging in a new data feed, changing some graphics around, and hitting go, and you have 100 new products up there.
Yeah, and one thing you're talking about your comparison or your rivalry site. I mean, you put a discussion board on there where they can talk trash.
Exactly.
And you've got yourself an opportunity there to where you're going to have people coming back constantly. And you get more and more opportunities to put your products in front of them. You get their information, so then you can come back and market to them in the future and push offers out that way.
You create an email form, so they want news on their team or what's happening with as far as what fans bigger. There's so many options you can go. I mean, you can go from just to the straight standard content. If you're that big of a fan of a certain team and you're reporting news on just one team, you can do that, and all you have to do is in WordPress create a shop and then throw a data feed on the shop that way. But it's all about, just creating that unique content when you're going with that route. If you're not going to the data feed side, unique quality content is where it's at.
Yeah, and you could easily combine the two, where you have a blog. I have UltimateSeahawksFan.com that I just started up a couple weeks ago, and I'm right now I'm just adding content, trying to write an article every day, which never really happens. Usually ends up being 1 or 2 a week, but as you build content for that, then you can add products into that. You can take, if you're talking about Matt Hasselbeck, you can put ads for Matt Hasselbeck jerseys on there. You can also have a whole section of the site that's just a store with all your data feed content. So there's a lot of different ways you can structure a site also. Right?
Yeah. Here's the thing, you got to write this down. The biggest thing in sports and to make money on sports, and like he said, it's all about what, quote unquote, the hot market. So it's being on top of what's coming up next, like before it even happens. So if, you know, this player is going to get drafted or traded, having that site ready to go at that moment and having a reliable merchant that's going to have that product, that jersey available right away. Like there's a site, Football Fanatics, that they're on it. So footballfanatics.com, as soon as, you know, like those words South Beach came out of LeBron's mouth, their whole website changed, and they had the jerseys live, ready to go for the affiliates to sell.
And they had an email blast out to the affiliates within a half hour.
Right away. So, I mean, it's all about the hot market and being on game. So having these sites ready to go, so when these players jump, they move, you're right on top of it. That's where the money's made. Now, obviously, it's not going to be a long term, but like, just think the LeBron thing. You probably could have made money for a month or two.
LeBron, you'll be able to make it for
still making money
6 years,
right?
Because
exactly.
People are still going to be looking for LeBron
Looking
James,
for the
Miami
jersey,
jerseys.
and if you get an exact match domain,
Yeah.
how many people type in that search? You're going to be at the number 1 to number 3 result in no time, and stay there. As long as you provide quality content and build it correctly.
Right.
Yeah. One thing to keep in mind, though, with the hot markets like that, a lot of times the jerseys will be for sale right away. Sometimes they don't ship for 2 or 3 weeks, though. I ran into that with LeBron jerseys where I was getting a ton of traffic and a ton of targeted traffic, but for some reason the sales weren't quite what I was expecting. I think it's because there was like a two-week delay on the shipping the jerseys, so people were going to come back 2 weeks later to buy it. But they're still cookied. They're still I still see commissions coming in from that.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's all because, you know, determining their number and all that. Usually they'll throw it up with a 0 first until they establish what number. Yeah, but that's the way to go. It's the hot market is I think the main way to go with the sport.
And we talked a little bit about communities earlier and some of the kinds of sites or blogs or forums or anything like that. I know, from looking around at some of the blogs and fan communities that I hang out on, I'm a Seattle guy as well, so I'm a Mariners fan. And USS Mariner, they're doing 500,000 visits a month. And they haven't done any advertising. I mean, they essentially just put quality content out there, provided a great discussion forum for people to come in and respond to their posts. And then they also tied up with the local radio stations and started providing content for them, started doing some swapping of articles with some other local media outlets. And now, they're getting some really solid, exposure, really solid traffic, and they can work in, blogvertise, they can work in affiliate stuff. And if you're getting 500,000 visits a month and you're not spending anything at all for publicity, you got a pretty solid platform there for making some money.
Yeah.
And another really cool feature now that, we're talking about strategies. For example, a lot of sports fans, they make videos. I know, Joe, you make videos.
Yeah.
And on Share Sale, we actually have a feature that you can submit your own videos, your homemade videos, and turn them actually into affiliate links. So you could be in that video wearing like a Seahawks jersey, and people like it, or it's like a fleece or something they might like. And then what you can do is you can upload it into the Share Sale interface, then go into, like, say, Football Fanatics data feed or CBS Sports, and find that fleece and actually have it slide out on the side of your video and turn your homemade video into an affiliate link. Number one, people love watching videos. It increases the time people spend on your website, and at the same time, it decreases your bounce rate because it gives them more to look at, and then they tend on clicking on other things too. So it's an awesome feature in sports marketing to use the video side of things.
And there's tons of creative things you can do with videos. There's a merchant I just found a week or so ago, and they sell little plastic figures like Army men, except they're football and baseball players. My wife Kate has one there. Anybody have any kids that wants a bag of those things? Yeah, give it to whoever. But I mean, just kind of thinking outside the box, or just thinking you could take those guys, and if you're really good with videos, create a little stop motion recap of the games and create a few plays and show it happening.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the type of thing that people are going to share with other people. They're going to tweet about it. They're going to post on their Facebook. That's the type of thing that's going to attract an audience.
And that actually is the kind of stuff that would do really well when you're talking about social sharing, Facebook, stumbling, digging, that type of stuff.
Real easy.
That stuff will go viral in no time.
One of the funniest things I've ever seen, Jim Kukral spoke this morning at the keynote. Big Browns fan, so he's a really suffering, long-pained individual. A couple years ago, he did a video at the start of the season. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. He comes on, he's got his Browns jersey on. He's like, "Yeah, this is the year. We're going to kick ass. We're finally going to do it." And he posts another video. There's a little edit to it about 15 minutes later after the first quarter, after the first 2 interceptions, run back for touchdowns. He's like, "I can't believe they're doing this crap again." And he's got a bottle of Jack Daniels in front of him that's about that far down. Comes back a little bit later, and he's like, slurring. "I can't stand these assholes. I don't even know why I do this." Bottle's farther down. Last one that comes up, another year, same damn Browns. Screw it. Knocks the bottle off the table. And that was his video. That thing got pushed around because it was funny as all get out. And it was simple to do. I mean, it probably took him a half hour to do the whole thing with a flip cam, if that. And he brought something fun and interesting that he knew would get a reaction, like he talked about this morning. Good reaction, bad reaction, get a reaction. And it got pushed all over the place. And if he'd been hooking that up with some Browns gear, through a video tool, at that point, the video and the data feed tools weren't really integrated yet. But that's something that could have really got around and picked up some good traffic for him. There's also some other tools. You guys were talking about doing video and things like that. Skim links. If you got a forum site where people are discussing products, AvantLink has a tool they call the ALE script that goes through and reviews content from a site and links back to affiliate products. And there's guys that have outdoor gear sites that have had a forum up and running for 5 or 6 years. They've got literally millions of pages of content. Drop that script on and you've got 50,000 affiliate links in a couple minutes that are going to be living there forever. And so there's some really cool kind of tricks and gadgets and things out there that can make your life really easy if you're a sports marketer.
Just regarding the forum links, this is like basically if a certain keyword, let's just do the LeBron James jersey gets mentioned in a forum, it becomes a hyperlink.
Yep.
Yeah. See, I have a really popular forum as well, and I think my users would be pretty pissed off if I added that because it kind of, I personally, if I go to a forum and I see that, I'm kind of turned off. While it might make the site money, they might also be losing a lot.
What?
They've been around 5 or 6 years, so they have a pretty steady user base.
And a lot of it depends on how you approach it. If you let people know that, hey, there's going to be some monetized links on this site, but I do put a lot of time and energy and passion into this place, and maybe you throw a party every year that's supported by the money that you throw. Do something at the stadium or do something at a local bar, and give a portion of it back or give it to charity. There's all kinds of ways you can kind of spin that, and I think it's being transparent. Being honest with your crowd. So it doesn't seem like a monetization play. It seems like something that's just a part of the way you do things.
Or even set it up on even just archive posts. So when new visitors are coming or when users are coming and posting something, when users are coming and posting new content, they're not going to see it, but if stuff that's 6 months old that the search engines are seeing,
It's a good way to do it.
Eric, do you have something? Oh, okay. I thought you were. Anybody need any more beers? We got some more.
There's a few up here.
There's a few up here.
So
Tickets.
That's sports.
Yeah. I was going to talk something about that, but I've been talking mostly about merchandise because that's mainly what I do. But if you have a site for, say, the Seahawks, get some links from Ticketmaster or StubHub or RazorGator
the Seahawks.
Wow, there's an echo.
Weird voices.
Yeah, but there's other products you can add into your sites, like tickets. Because people are looking for jerseys, there's a good chance they want to go to a game. For that matter, have a little section on your site about traveling to a Seahawks game and what hotels are going to be nearby. People that are interested in football are going to be interested in fantasy stuff. So like FanDuel, it's a daily fantasy site. That'd be another great link to add on there.
You'd be surprised. How many people that hang out on the forums are people that live in other cities or live all around the world. Joe and I have been personally blown away by how many Seahawk fans there seem to be in New York. We're kind of freaked out by that. Yeah. But so there's a lot of opportunities, like you talked about, with travel or with tickets, where you might not think that would be there, but it really is because people are fans and moved away.
Everywhere, I'm an Eagles fan, And I mean, there's a lot of Eagles fans in Tampa. They actually call it Tampa-delphia. There's that many fans. So the forum is, nationwide. So definitely opportunity wherever you go with the forum.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, whatever you pick like that, there's going to be other ancillary products you can pull in and make money on. It might not be your main money maker, but I mean, if you sell a package of 4 tickets, the commissions on those are pretty high. If you get a player on one of the fantasy sites that keeps coming back and playing and adding more money into their account, that's going to add up over time. So.
Yeah, so look for the recurring commissions where you can get them.
All right, so let's so someone new coming into it, and we'll start from here, with some advice, right? So someone coming in, you definitely want to write something that you're passionate about. I wouldn't recommend coming in and trying to take every league on at once. Yeah, you know what I mean? Just try to build like this master sports site with every league and try to just take every data feed and shove it all on the site, because there's way too much competition and it's just not going to work. I think the way to go with the sports is to go really niche, maybe with your favorite team, a fan shop, or a blog that you write about, and put merchandise there. That's definitely one of the ways to go.
Yeah.
Jason, how about advertising like international teams? It seems like you guys are only talking domestic, but
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's
like you said, there's fans from like Tampa, Philly. I have a feeling that with all the international.
Sure. Well, when I was actually, I worked. Football, NFL football. It does okay overseas, but it's more about real football.
Other sports.
Having teams from other countries.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like Premier League teams.
Premier
and,
League, yeah, absolutely.
Soccer.
And there's tons of
Yeah.
like merchants that provide that stuff. That Football Fanatics carries all the on share, so they carry all the Premier League, all the World Cup stuff. So there's definitely any niche that you can think about in sports. There's a merchant out there that has it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of rugby fans in the U.S. It's probably a small, tight-knit community. I mean, most of us probably aren't rugby fans, but there's some out there. So if you can get some All Blacks jerseys from New Zealand and build a site around that, there's going to be people that are going to be wanting those. It's not going to be as many people as are going to want New York Jets jerseys or whatever, but a smaller market, it's going to be easier. It's going to be easier to get rankings on that, easier to get traffic, and the sales will be there.
Yeah. So starting from scratch, in the sports industry, you got to be really careful. And I've talked to a lot of actually major teams, and you have to be careful with trademark terms. And Joe knows a lot about this.
Yeah.
When I was working for Football Fanatics at one point. It's okay. You kind of have to get around. You're not allowed to use the actual team's name in your domain. They'll hit you with a C&D, cease and desist, right away. Mostly the colleges are the ones that are really strict on that. So when you're buying domains, stay away from using the actual team name. So maybe try to play on it, like use the city name, and try to kind of come up with their nickname. Yeah. So you could be like
Big Apple football jerseys.
Yeah, exactly. Or blackandgoldgear.com, if you're talking about Pittsburgh or something.
Steel Town.
Or Iron City sports.com. These are just domains that are possibly available. Yeah. But you just got to stay away from that trademark term, because you'll get shut down right away.
So, you could have giantsfan.com, that would be
It honestly, it depends on the team.
Yeah.
It really does depend on the team. You can put it up. You might get shut down. You might not.
There was a site
but colleges are the ones that'll come after you right away.
Yeah, there's a site I put up last year, Yankees World Series Gear.com or something like that, Yankees Championship Gear. And I got a letter from from MLB complaining about it. I thought they were going to there was an image that I borrowed from their site to use as a background or something, and they said that I needed to take that down. And I asked, well, how about the domain? Is YankeesWorldSeriesGear.com fine? I said, oh yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and use it.
You're not allowed to do anything with the domain.
Huh?
What were they saying? You couldn't do anything?
No, they didn't want me to use the image. There's an image that I used. They were fine with the domain. I thought that's what they were going to nail me on. But like the year before, I had like Steelers championship gear,
that
Steelers
was
Super
the
Bowl
one.
gear or something.
Yeah.
And I had to shut that one down and change it to Pittsburgh championship gear.
Yeah, which is kind of good.
Yeah.
Because you could turn that in.
Now I got
that
the
same
Penguins.
year. The Penguins won.
Probably
so
never have to worry about the Pirates.
Pirates won't happen.
But yeah. So yeah, you do have to be careful using specific team names.
And then
in college, you have to really be careful
and
about
then-
players, don't you?
Yeah, players. It's a real. Just I would stay away from it. Don't use the player's name in a domain. Just keep it until they become pro. If you know there's a good college player and you can grab that domain, buy it and wait till they become pro, because don't even try to push it when they're in college. You're going to get shut down instantly. The colleges are really strict. And on that note, not only with the domains, colleges are very strict about using their mascot and their logos too. So if you're going to build out like college sites, you're not allowed to actually use their logo or mascot unless it's on a piece of apparel. So you can't use it in your header, you can't use it on the side, like to make it look like you're an official store or whatever, but you can have it on a t-shirt, in your banner, your header, wherever. You just can't have it on your site. It's just one of the things that the NCAA, you got to stay away from.
Yeah, they're big into rights management, and they're
Well,
also get really
and I
touchy
think-
when you start doing your pay-per-click buys, saying official
Yeah.
Seminoles team shop or something like that, where you're implying that you've got more authority than you do, or that you're
Sure.
implying something like that. That gets you cracked either by the merchant or by the school.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that comes from the NFL doesn't seem to touch it too much, and we're talking just football here, but it's probably for all the other leagues. But I think college really cracks down on it more because, they're looking, the NFL makes money, but the colleges really need that money. So, they're relying a lot on that fund. So that's probably why they crack down a lot harder than your professional leagues.
Yeah.
So.
Anybody have any questions? While we collect our thoughts and move forward. We're just, like I said, we're just doing this off the cuff because we
There's beer here.
got found out.
So you've been talking about football and basketball.
Yeah.
You're interested in surfing.
Yeah, that's perfect. There's for example, on Share Sale, there's surfanatics.com, O'Neill. We have a program O'Neill on there, so obviously you know all them. And they have data feeds. Both of them have data feeds.
Becker Surf's out there as well. That's had a
Yeah,
program
there's
for a long
tons
time.
of sites like that. And then skateboarding, snowboarding sites.
Yeah, well, even
There's
like Wade manages bowlingshirt.com. They sell bowling shirts.
Yeah, custom.
So there's pretty much any sport you want to look at, there's going to be a merchant out there with an affiliate program. I was just doing a quick look through some of the networks today, and there's probably at least 100 merchants.
Yeah,
You
type,
can
in,
easily-
type in sports, you're going to get a lot of
yeah,
results.
you
There's
can easily
even-
find 100 merchants.
Yeah.
Baseballrampage.com, baseballexpress.com.
Baseball Express, right,
Tennis,
exactly.
what is it, tennis?
Well,
tennis?
we got Tennis Outlet, Tennis Express.
Yeah, Lost Golf Balls.
Yeah, Lost Golf
A whole
Balls.
bunch of different golf merchants.
Anything-
So yeah, all those smaller sports,
You'll find something.
you'll find something.
Absolutely.
You're probably going to have less issues as far as trademark stuff
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, you really don't come across that too
Yeah.
much.
And
So,
sports like that, you're going to be able to develop a good community site also.
Absolutely.
Where, yeah, you just get all the surfers just talking about where they've been surfing and that type of thing. Or if you're into mountain biking, people can post the trails that they went on over the weekend and put a video up of what they've done. So, yeah, with pretty much all of the sports, people like talking about sports. People like talking about the teams they like. People like talking about the activities they do. So getting involvement from them is good. That's free content. If they're posting on your forum, if they're posting comments on a blog, if they're uploading videos for you to do, you can run contests where people upload the videos, and whoever's the best video, you give, I don't know, a gift card out to one of the merchants, whatever. I mean, people want to talk about sports and they want to talk about things they love. So it's one of those markets where it is fairly easy to get content from other people and get them to give you content for
And
free.
this actually kind of leads into backlinks and getting links from other fan sites. So, for example, like the surf community, you could reach out to surf report sites. There's how many surf report sites are out there? I mean, you could reach out and get a backlink. You can share backlinks with them, and that will help your SEO by gaining valuable backlinks from sites like that. And it goes with any of them. I mean, surf would be great. Football, a little tougher. I mean, I guess you just kind of go for, if you're running a certain team site, kind of go after those same guys is probably the best way to get backlinks for those sites. I mean, any other ideas on?
So usually, if you're doing something that's regional or city specific, there's going to be a small ring of sites that are the ones that have the traffic. So if you get on there and you're an active participant and you get a chance to use your SIG file and stuff like that, be tasteful about it. I mean, don't go in there screaming, "Hey, check out my new blog at," because they're gonna, they're either gonna think you're a bit of an ass, or they're gonna think you're an ass and they're gonna throw you off.
Right.
Or take away your signature file privileges. I mean, so if you get in and you actually, this is old school stuff, but just go in and be a member of the community.
Yeah.
And be a productive member of the community, and you'd be surprised how much traffic you could see coming back your way. And they'd be willing to do a little bit of link swapping, or maybe ask somebody for a guest post, and say, hey, Jason from Prospect Insider, guest article from him this week, and then you'll get people coming to check you out.
Absolutely. Any other ways, backlinks you could think of as far as on the SEO side of things?
People love to link to lists. Like one of the most popular posts on one of my blogs is the top 10 selling football jerseys, where every few months I'll update it and just list the top 10 football jerseys, obviously with affiliate links on all of them. But on that part of my blog, that page gets the most traffic. People are searching for the top 10 jerseys. You could do another big portion of my site that I haven't touched in, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years. I put this up one time and just left it, was stats. I found a database of all the stats since 1930 for the NFL or something like that, and messed around with it and threw it up, and it still gets traffic, still gets people going to the site. So people want to link to stats, they want to link to lists, your favorite players, all sorts of that type of thing.
Okay, so what about sports and social media? I mean, that's a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
Especially, if you're big on Twitter. A lot of people do a lot of Twitter searches and try to find related fans. So I always advise, like, if you're writing a tweet, obviously use hashtags. Obviously, you use ASE10 here. I mean, why not, if you're writing a post and you have a blog post, link it and then put like pound Eagles, pound Philly, anything related, pound NFL. And people do those searches and they'll find you, and it definitely gets a good amount of traffic that way. Build a community out on some of the, obviously we all know what Facebook is.
Yeah. And that could be solid. I mean, I've got a merchant that I just launched called Christian Cycle Online, and talk about niche, Christian messaged cycling gear, bicycling wear. And wow. I had a guy that I do some work with that has a Facebook group called Proud to be a Christian, happens to have 1.6 million people that are members of this group on Facebook. The day that we launched this program, I told him, he thought it was cool. He did a little blast out there, and then we did, I think, 4,000 visits on that day, just from a link in his group. And there's more traffic than the guy had ever seen on his site in a year. And all from just a Facebook group. Yeah, if you go out there and do a search for your favorite team name, there's going to be, depending on how obscure teams you like. I mean, if you don't like the Pirates or something, you'll probably find at least 5 or 6 groups, if not more, that tie back into your team that you can tap into. And
people love talking about sports again. I mean, on Twitter on Sunday afternoons, everybody's talking about the football games. Oh, why did Cutler just throw that play? Throw that interception? I hate the Bears. I mean, they'll tweet stuff like that. They'll tweet stuff about a great score that happened. So you're going to find people out there talking about football during the games, and just tap into those conversations.
Go ahead.
This is just regarding Twitter.
Yeah.
And this is just kind of a general question. How do you guys have any recommendations on how to get more people to follow? My site's Facebook, super duper popular. Our Twitter page, we definitely started late on the Twitter tip, because just wasn't really into it.
Are you talking about how to get people to follow you?
More people to,
I
see some. Do you recommend auto following everyone?
No, don't do that. Don't.
In my industry,
and don't.
People with a lot of followers seem to be following just as many people, but I also like to only follow clean,
right.
Yeah.
And don't have a message, an auto generation message, or thank you for following me. Don't do that.
Yeah, no, I don't.
I noticed, I obviously follow you guys, and use start having your guys that are running the Twitter feed, you start using hashtags. I mean, related to. So if you're writing about a certain artist or player, we'll say, use their name in the hashtag or.
With the hashtags, so see, I actually never use hashtags at all. I didn't realize how important they were.
Right.
Yeah.
And people do search that.
Search for the hashtags. So you can make up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you can make anything. Pound hip hop.
Well, of course, that one's going to be.
It's big, and people search it. A lot of
And
people
it's
search it.
more like related to. I'm just thinking like an example like sports, like LeBron James jerseys.
Yeah.
Do you just do pound LeBron James?
No, I do.
Pound LeBron James.
No, I do pound LeBron James, pound NBA,
Or
pound
even just a
basketball.
regular search for.
Put multiple hashtags.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
As much, you got 140 characters to work with.
But then if someone hits to retweet it.
Well, there's now the new retweet though that'll retweet it,
Yeah.
even if it's maxed. If you're using, there's a new way to retweet if you're using TweetDeck. Than the original, it'll actually retweet it even if it's max characters, and so it doesn't mess anything up. You'll see it if you use TweetDeck. It shows the.
When someone retweets your post, there has to be enough space for your, not using TweetDeck, enough space to fit your name, right? Because it'll be like retweet at Jason Rubacki.
Right,
That
but
space now is
taking up characters, right? But in the new version of TweetDeck, if you hit retweet without editing now,
someone's using
Yeah.
TweetDeck though, so
it's correct. Correct.
Also, the web interface.
it's the same. We'll do the same thing. So it's basically an updated
Yeah,
Twitter.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many of those out there.
And using any of the automated tools for going out and following masses of people just sucks. I mean, people are so random in terms of what they're following. I mean, all you'll end up doing is getting a bunch of garbage content in there. So you're way better off to say, hey, every day I'm going to spend 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, going out and finding guys that write solid content about what I'm into and following those guys. And if you're doing good stuff too, they'll follow you back. People will see you. Make sure you're using those hashtags because it's surprising how many people go out and look at that stuff.
A lot.
And so, I mean, if they've got it set up in TweetDeck or Hootsuite or whatever they're using, I know I set it up in Hootsuite where I'll follow hashtags and go in every day and be looking to see, hey, who's talking about,
Exactly.
fantasy sports or who's talking about, this or that, and start my prospecting there.
So you start following people who
Yeah.
are basically talking about your content.
Yeah.
And in hopes that they'll follow you.
Yeah, and when you're tweeting out, make sure that every tweet isn't just, hey, go check out this new blog post I put. Hey, check out this blog post I put about this. I mean,
It should be specific.
yeah, I mean, well, tweet real content. I mean, just tweet like you would normally if it's not promoting a website. Just say, oh, so glad that Russell Okung finally signed his Seahawks contract. And then every few of them, yeah, you can put in a link to your blog, but you don't want everything you tweet out there to be a link. 'Cause then people won't follow you.
Yeah,
People are just going to see, oh, it's just some other guy
Yeah.
out there pushing this stuff. You want to make it just good content that people are going to like to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's a conversation, and if you walk into a
Right.
conversation and start, babbling gibberish, I mean, people are going to tune out and walk the other way. And if you're doing the same thing with your marketing on Twitter or, Facebook or whatever, you're going to get the same thing. So if you're bringing something to the conversation that's interesting,
Right.
people are going to want to participate, people are going to retweet it, people are going to, be commenting on it and whatnot.
And it's also about creativity, and once again, people will follow you if you give them something to, like, for example, when the Blackhawks won the cup, go Hawks, there was a hashtag pound where's the cup, and it allowed it gave updates of where the Stanley Cup was in the city, so people could actually go see it, and it created a following. So
How did you find that hashtag? You just saw a lot of people.
yeah, you can see trending stuff. There's ways of searching for stuff like that. Absolutely.
And you could even set up, you could set up a widget on your site that would display discussions in that hashtag. So you
Like-
could actually have that on your site to keep people up to date on where the cup is.
Right, and even some of the mobile apps have targeting now, so where people are tweeting from, you can see all that stuff too. So
Now, have you seen any, or Joe, have you created any mobile apps that integrate sports marketing and affiliate marketing?
I haven't done anything with mobile
Have
yet.
have you used any personally on whatever phones you guys use that are affiliate apps?
affiliate apps.
I haven't seen anything like that or used anything like that.
It's definitely.
I'm looking at my sports folder right now. So yeah.
It's definitely an area people should be looking into.
Yeah, I mean, everything I have basically is fantasy in the Chat Ocho Cinco app.
But even that could be, you know, I don't know if FanDuel has an iPhone app or, you know.
No. I think
But fantasy apps could be.
I think mobile's still up and coming.
Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunity.
Right, but the audience, if you're doing your standard sports, like a lot of the stuff we're talking about, you're talking males 18 to 35, wired to these things. I mean, walk away from their laptops all the time, but you're never without your phone. And so if you're able to tap into, having an app or having, being able to push stuff to their, by text to them. I mean, a couple years ago when Joel Comm released his, mobile marketing tool, he said, you know what, it's easy to tune out an email, but every time that phone buzzes in your pocket, you go up and take a look at it. And we've been talking to some guys that are partnering up with major companies now. I mean, there's a guy that I was talking to the other day that's partnering up with Round Table Pizza, 600 stores across the country, and they've done something where you send a message to a certain address, you get a ridiculous coupon back. I mean, at that point, you got that guy's information and the permission to market back to him. That's pretty solid. And I think that mobile is definitely the way to be looking if you're not there now. At least making your sites mobile accessible if you're not actually going out there developing apps for them.
Sure.
Do you have a question back there? Thought I saw your hand up.
We're imagining hands now.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, seriously, for like new guys coming in, I mean, what else would you recommend?
What about non-traditional sports? I mean, we touched on surfing, but I mean, Wade, you do bowling and
I mean, yeah, there
it's
was,
the same stuff, community.
I think with the bowling thing, like if you were running, because there's bowlingball.com. I mean, they sell bowling balls, I think it's all about selling bowling balls on the internet. It's just creating a site that's get a good domain and you sell bowling balls. I don't think there's really a community behind it. It's like that's a guy that's the Big Lebowski or somebody that just knows what kind of ball they want to use and orders a bowling ball online because it's probably a little cheaper.
Yeah, at that point it becomes like a price buy.
A price buy, yeah.
But with any sport like that, I mean, there's some passionate bowling fans out there.
Yeah.
You look at any bowling alley, and they have leagues going all week long. There's hundreds of people going there bowling. So, I mean, people love to do smaller sports like that you just don't really think of.
Yeah, and bowling shirt's kind of a funny, bowlingshirt.com is kind of a funny one because there's an element of, bowlers coming in buying stuff, but if you look at the pro bowlers, they're not wearing this. Okay, they're wearing like, a high-end polo shirt kind of stuff. That's also available on bowlingshirt.com, but it's a pretty small selection as far as it goes. So we get a mix of bowling sites, retro fashion sites, 50s sites, cruising car clubs, stuff like that. So that one really kind of spreads out all over the place because we're not as far as like modern bowling wear, it's probably not the play.
Is it bowling wear really modern?
Yeah, but yes, I mean, but there's so much crossover now because people are wearing their gear all over the place. I mean,
Really?
well, yeah.
Well, even speaking about bowling, there was a bowling alley that contacted me. I think for like 5 straight years they ordered from me, but they did a NFL bowling league where each team would have a different jersey. So they ordered like 200 jerseys off my site. So I mean, there is even crossovers like that. If you can even go talk to local bowling alleys and say, hey, how about an NFL bowling league or a baseball or basketball, whatever. I mean, any of those things. So I mean, there's even ways to cross over between.
Yeah, hook up a relationship like that, come up with a coupon from the merchant, tag to you, and off you go.
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah, how about some big brands, like some consumer brands, like sports marketing obviously is the home of Miller Lite and those kinds of things. Have you seen any interest now for those types of brands looking at, some of these kind of relationships maybe?
I haven't really ever had any contact with anything like that.
And all my sports sites are out of date now, so.
Yeah. Miller Lite hasn't contacted me with $1 million check wanting to sponsor anything.
I would think that, ultimately that's the next step for them to start looking at is, some of these great communities. That
Yeah,
are built out there.
definitely.
Why not come directly to the, people that are talking about a specific team that they might be working with. So,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that that's the direction.
Right. And if you've got a sizable enough community, I mean, straight sponsorships like that are absolutely possible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something you could definitely, if you find out who the agency is, for one of those big groups, if you've got sufficient traffic coming in and you've got a really trusted position, it's certainly a discussion you can have. And the funny thing is, in a lot of cases when you're talking, I've also got, it's kind of a side project, I've got a company that does high school sports broadcasting online. And one of the things that we've bumped into is if we go and contact like Chevy dealers of Western Washington and say, hey, we've got the broadcast rights for the Washington State High School football championships, and we only ask them for $10,000 to sponsor it, they're like, wow, that's a pretty small buy. I'm not sure if that's worth it. And we're like, yeah, but that's $10,000. That would be really cool. So in some cases, I mean, they might be surprised at how small of a buy you're actually looking for, but it can be really substantial revenue for you. Because I don't know about you guys, but if I was, pulled a one buy deal for $10,000 on my site, I'd be pretty stoked.
Right, and how much more targeted can you get?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you do have a local site, I mean, talk to some of the sports bars around, talk to some of the restaurants around, and see if you can work out some sort of coupon deal. Even, hey, give me $500 a month, and I'll put your coupon on the site for 20% off wings during the games or whatever. So yeah, I mean, there is even other. If you can build a big enough set of eyeballs following you, there's going to be money there. You just got to go find it sometimes.
And if you've got a big community, I mean, you can definitely partner up with your local sports bars or whatever. Because I know that some of the sites I follow, USS Mariners started doing fan meetups where they'd get like the Mariners GM to come in, answer questions from the geeks, and people loved it. And it's to the point now where they're having to book out like an entire section in the upper deck of Safeco Field to do this because the response is so huge. And they started off doing it in like little hotel meeting rooms or sports bars, and now that everybody is going online to talk sports, they're able to do huge stuff. And of course, at that point, the big companies want to get in and say, hey, how can I tap into your group? How can we set this affinity thing up so that they know that they should be driving a Chevy? Right. And that we're going to give them some love for being a part of your community. We'll give them free oil changes, or we'll give them a deal, something like that.
So, any more questions? I think we're almost out of time here.
Come on, you got questions.
I do. As you see, I have a lot of money. No, well, Jason, you were just saying to your buddy here, like, as a new website, what should you guys be talking about? And you were talking about lists, so like, how about like a top 5 or top 10 absolute must-have market things to do to get traffic to your website, i.e., have a Facebook page, have a Twitter page, email newsletter. What's worked for you guys the best to get, besides having a website, getting people, and of course, search engine optimization?
I mean, that was
for me. SEO is most
yeah.
of it. I mean, if you build your site niche enough, it doesn't take that much.
It's easy.
I mean, it's pretty easy.
I mean, you get the formula. It's all about the formula, and we've talked about the formula. Yeah. It's exact match domain plus exact match title plus exact match H1, and 80% of your SEO is done right there. Yeah. Then it's all about providing quality content. Quality, unique content, let me say that. Don't rip it from somebody else and just put it there. But quality, unique content. With that formula and that piece, guaranteed, if you get a great exact match domain, I mean, you can be listed on the first page for giant keywords. I've been doing some testing recently, honestly, within like 3 to 5 days, in the number 1 to 3 spot.
Yeah. Another big thing I do is videos. Like I bought when Russell Okung and Earl Thomas were drafted by the Seahawks. Bought their jerseys as soon as I could. I took a video of me talking about the jerseys. Hey, these guys are here. Jerseys are for sale. I bought these. And with videos, if you do it right, a lot of time within, I've seen it in as quick as 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You could be first page of Google.
Absolutely.
Your video could be listed there.
Have your Steadicam just kind of posted up on a table and you're just filming yourself?
Yeah, I'm just sitting there. I have a big Seahawks fat head behind me, and yeah, I'm just talking about that. I've done it for other football stuff, like Alabama when they won the SEC championship. I made a video just showing a bunch of Alabama SEC championship shirts.
Yep.
And that's what I titled the video. And within a couple hours, that was listed top 10 for Alabama SEC championship shirts.
Easy.
So, I mean, video's another, and that's still totally untapped. More and more people are getting
Video,
into it.
I mean,
But I mean, Google wants to rank videos, and they want to rank them well.
And nobody's giving it to
And
them.
most of your competitors aren't producing anything.
And that leads actually into another way, since we're touching on SEO a little bit, is optimizing your images. If you take a look right now go to Google and look up a player's jersey, right? The #1 result's probably going to be from a major site. Only reason because they have pool. But if you look at the description of that image, it's only because they have, LeBron James jersey, Miami jersey .jpg, right? That's the only reason they're there. None of these companies are taking advantage of using the description, the alt text. If you took advantage of that and added all additional keywords, guaranteed in 2 weeks, because Google doesn't prioritize their images crawling wise as much as the content, but you could be on the first page, which with on the first row, at least the first 3 images for that jersey, guaranteed, because these large companies aren't taking advantage of optimizing images. It's this huge missing link. When I was running a site, I wrote about the Pittsburgh Penguins and how I hated Sidney Crosby so much, and I had all these images up. And at one point, 63% of my traffic was coming from Google Images. And people were, Crosby haters, Crosby lovers were coming there, but you'd optimize that post. They were coming from the image, getting to the post, and then the fans that were looking at it were seeing a deep link Crosby jersey. Or then I'd put their rival's jersey in there too, and then sales. It's all about deep linking within those posts and optimizing those images. Nobody's doing it. It's a huge opportunity in the game.
Anything, Wade?
You guys are
So
the affiliate studs with this stuff.
yeah, I mean, if you guys have any more questions, anything? Testing. No more Seahawks talk, please.
I'll talk about them all day long.
Absolutely.
Please don't let him.
So, well, thanks for coming. Thanks for sitting in our last-minute session.
Yeah, it was a little impromptu, but thank you for coming. And
Hopefully you.
sorry I wasn't Paul Lemberg, but.
Yes, if you didn't like it, make
Oh
sure
yeah,
that-
I
that
am.
name.
If you're filling out the survey card, I am Paul Lemberg. If you did like it, my name is Jason.
Yeah. So, thanks again. There's some more beers up here. Come
Yeah.
help yourself. Enjoy.